once said, "I don't belong to any organized party. I'm a Democrat."
Right.
It's a lot easier to be organized if it's all black and white for you and you have just talking points. That's why the other party does it better.
Yeah.
All right. Next question.
I'm just finding it really extraordinary the way your guys' opinions and the opinions of probably most of the people in this world differ from those of the candidates that we, you know, put up for elections. I mean, John Kerry, I mean, you know, just like how can we like reconciliate the vast majority of our party's views and, well, I guess the views of the right?
Personally, I actually, I'll put out a plug. I voted for a Wes Clark, actually, in the election. I thought he was someone who had good values, domestic good values in foreign policy, and was a general that we could respect. I don't think John Kerry was the best the Democrats had to offer. I voted against him in the primary. He won the primary. I think that a lot of Democrats looked at his resume and didn't look at him as a speaker. One thing we should have learned by now is that charisma counts. Maybe it shouldn't. I think Al Gore would have been a terrific president. I really do. In some ways better than Clinton. But he didn't have the Clinton charm. He didn't have the Clinton magic. And so maybe we need to look to... I actually think Wes Clark's got more charisma than some of the other guys. One of the most charismatic people is Barack Obama. Give him a few years. But charisma does matter. And maybe it shouldn't, but it does.
I'm wondering how the Democratic Party thinks anything can be different with our next national election if you didn't do anything about 2000 and 2004 stolen elections. I mean, this isn't obvious where the Democratic Party should have been standing strong together and just melted. Kerry it's the most pathetic thing.
I think we have to take back the Democratic Party, as Howard Dean said. I share every word you said, the pain, the agony, the frustration. I was one of those that was frantically emailing and calling everyone I knew in the Gore campaign saying, don't concede, this is a crock. You're absolutely right. And I think one thing that we can focus on, even if you're a Green or consensus supporter, is the right to vote. Democrats believe in the right to vote. Republicans are against the right to vote. And they'll say, what are you talking about? That's not true. Why are you against protecting against fraud in voting? And let's just focus on the right to vote, because I think that's something that hopefully all Americans can agree on, and then we won't have stolen elections.
From them.
But please don't give up, because work within the party, join your local Democratic committee, raise hell, yes, don't give up, because you can change the Democratic Party. You can. I'm doing my best. You know, maybe it takes someone under a certain age to still believe, but I still have hope.
Pretty offensive, isn't he?
I say what I think. That's, you know, that's what I think the Democrats should do. Maybe not.
Next question?
Yeah, I've been voting since I've been a teenager, and then I was voting Democrat, and then went to Nader for the last 2 times, and now I'm not voting. And I'm sorry I voted in 2004 and in 2002, because I should have learned my lesson in 2000. When does the final nail go in the coffin? Because, you know, I don't know how much longer we have on this planet before we get nuked.
Well, unfortunately, we have a constitutional system, and if you don't like it, we have to amend the Constitution. We got to deal with what we got. You know, politics is often where you fight between the ideal and the compromise. The problem with our constitutional system, as you well know, is if you have a third party, it splits the progressive vote, and the conservatives win. And Ralph Nader did that in 2000.
I'm in the minority, so
and so, you know, that's just the way our system works. Work to change our system. Work to have a system where you have runoff voting. But that's the system we have. Just real quick, it's no fun to lose. And when you win, people join with you. And when you lose, people desert you. And I guess I want to close by a little bit of optimism. George Bush won re-election, even if we believe all the machines, by the smallest margin of any re-elected president in American history. Right. We have 49%. Maybe it's 48.5%. But we are not 1/3 of the nation or 1/4 of the nation. We're 48.5% of the nation. Maybe we're 51% if you look at election 2000. We don't have that far to climb. So for all the despondency and all this, I'm giving up, I'm not going to vote in the audience. All right, now I'm going to say something really politically incorrect. I think you're part of the problem. I think you're part of the problem.
Oh, shut up.
All right. We're going to have finalists about closing comments.
Move on.
Richard's going to give a closing comment on.
If you don't vote, how can you complain?
And my question, which was elicited by Mark's question, I can't remember exactly what it was, I think it's got a lot to do with dirty money. And my question right now is, how can we take either one of these parties seriously, and particularly Kerry, when he takes mountains of obscene dirty money from exactly the same sources as George Bush?
Amen.
Yeah, define dirty money.
Dirty money is all money from special interest groups.
That's all.
Let me respond, because I think you make a solid point that a lot of people believe. And first of all, let me start by saying I support public financing. We should get money out of politics, period, and that as they do in Europe. Absolutely, and some Americans are like, oh no, that will raise our taxes. Trust me, you'll get much more. But given the system we have, and sometimes in politics you have to work with the system we have, I make a strong distinction in my mind between two types of special interests, and you may disagree with me, and that's fine. Those special interests who are paying a politician to take taxpayer money out. I call that legalized bribery. And when a corporation gives, think about it, a corporation, when it gives to a politician, if it gives $1 million and it doesn't get if it gets $2 million back, that's legal bribery. If it doesn't get anything back, that's incompetence and the people should be fired. There is no reason a corporation should give a penny. It is either bribery or incompetence. That kind of special interest, I mean, the Swift Boat veterans, all right, those were lies. Those were easily documented lies. And the media, unfortunately, said, well, they say 2 + 2 = 5, and they say 2 + 2 = 4, and we don't know who's right. But to me, that's very different from a different kind of special interest, which I want to defend. As long as you don't have public financing, I do believe Americans can band together, individuals, not corporations, to support an idea. I don't care whether you're pro-choice or pro-life, NRA or pro-gun control. If you strongly believe an idea and you want to support a candidate that supports that idea, you're not getting taxpayer money back. It's not bribery. You're participating in the political system. And that kind of special interest money, I don't have a problem with, as long as we don't have public financing. And I think the heart of it is that people are there for cultural reasons, not for political reasons. I mean, that's what's the matter with Kansas. If you scratch people and ask them why they're supporting Bush, they'll tell you it's because they're pro-life on abortion. And they're not going to change that view, even if they disagree with him on every other issue, education, environment, healthcare. And there are an equally number, that are pro-choice. I'm not advocating that the Democratic Party be pro-life. I'm just advocating that we at least understand where people are coming from. And I also think that the Republicans do have a better ad campaign. They support their media. Rush Limbaugh, right? Jeff Gannon. We've got paid political pundits on the Republican side. Now, I'm not saying that the Democratic Party should support me. Okay, I'm saying it. The Democratic Party should support me. People like me who are struggling with an independent radio show, TV show, saying things, and I don't say the Democratic Party's bidding, I say my own views. And I do that because that's what I believe, and I condemn them sometimes, as I have here. But Republicans are very good at building their grassroots, at paying off media if they have to, at having young Republican clubs. And I like what Janet said about getting someone to go to a political meeting. Well, I have an idea. The churches that are losing memberships, they decide to get their young people in with Christian rock. Let's bring in rock and roll, right, which young people like, or good music, and we'll fuse it in with Christianity. Why can't we make politics fun again? Why can't we have political meetings that are, fun? Not just having a good band or something, but bringing in town hall meetings. Let people really discuss I've been to political meetings, and I've been there in California, sorry John, and they go on and on and on about, well, in the 3rd district, the school needs a new light bulb, and you're falling asleep.
All right.
Well, I think we can make politics fun again, and that's a way to attract new Democrats.